I want to tell you about a film that really inspired me to grow up. Because you see, when I was young, when I was a kid, I did not want to grow up. I would see how adults, they would go to offices and work on cubicles and computers, or I just looked like it just looked like adulthood was really banal and no fun at all. And I did not want to grow up. I wanted to stay a kid. That was until I saw the movie Chasing Amy by Kevin Smith. I think it was available on pay-per-view or something at a hotel, and we didn't know what it was. We thought it was like a sex comedy, and probably that's why it was so exciting. But it kind of starts at a comic book convention, and at the time I was reading comic books, and it's about comic book creators, and I was like, whoa, I never even thought about that, like what it is to be a comic book creator. And I saw their lives, like going to Brooklyn and hanging out at bars and just like having a good time and drawing comics for a living, making a living doing that. Also just navigating relationships with friends and loved ones, and I wanted to grow up as soon as possible after that. I wanted to grow up for the first time. Later on, of course, I would watch Clerks, Mallrats, and I learned about Kevin Smith as a filmmaker, and Clerks definitely triggered me to be inspired to be a filmmaker, to be an artist. It made me feel like it can be done. And Chasing Amy was the beginning of that. And that happened. I made comic books, I wrote films and TV projects. I lived in Brooklyn being the prototypical hipster in the early aughts. I lived that life, and I'm still a grown man-child. Probably a little bit like Kevin Smith. And then a few years later, I got to meet him at a comic book convention because he started writing comic books. And he really reinvigorated Marvel because he wrote grittier stories that were more adult oriented and probably like filmic in a way. And it sort of changed the industry and brought it back to life again. Made people take it seriously and made writers more primary to the medium. He had a heart attack some years back, which he survived. And I was so, grateful for that. And then I know he realized he had like a massive depersonalization thing where he realized he didn't know who he was, and he built up a persona to protect himself from all this trauma, something like that. I just want you to know, Kevin Smith, you have been a major inspiration. You're probably my #1 inspiration to me to become an artist in the first place. And I'll forever be grateful for that, to you for that. And if you're watching this, snooch to the booch, my man, and thank you.